We going? I don't know if we're going or not. I think we're going. Hope we're going, or else I'm gonna look pretty stupid right now. Okie dokie. I'm doing good so far. I haven't taken a long leave of absence. I've repetitively been here. I mean, I haven't, not that much, but I've been around though. I got it together. I can do it. Today we are going to do a discussion video. Next week I'm doing the Telltale thing, so prepare yourselves now. It's gonna be ridiculous. A great first discussion would be one of the main things that gets brought up about this show and is controversial about the show, and that is the violence. Is it too much? Is it bad? Is it, not a good thing that our children are seeing it? This, that, and the other. Just a whole thing about violence on the show. Is the violence too brutal, shall we say? I'll start by giving you my opinion about it. Well, yeah. So, I feel like the violence has slowly but surely evolved over time, almost as if they were trying to prep us for how they were going to take the violence and how bad it was going to become. However, it's like in people, I think they freak out over it too much. With a show like this, you can't really expect any different. This is like the apocalypse. This is dire situation, like life and death situations. Of course, the violence is going to be bad, but I feel like the violence on the show, whether you think it's too graphic or not, is necessary violence. That's the thing. I feel like it's all the violence that I've seen, with the exception of a couple that I'll mention here in a minute. With the exception of a couple of things, because the show like this, of course, they're gonna do things for shock value. Just here recently, the whole Beth thing, I feel, was solely a shock factor death. I feel like that was literally the only reason why they would kill her, is just to shock us all. But for a lot of people, me included, I felt like Beth would die in the mid-season finale. I pretty much knew it. My reaction video, you see me literally like, oh no, because I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew they were going to kill her. But it wasn't really, I don't think that was a fair death. I haven't really talked about that, just because I'm trying to stay out of the whole situation. It was just a shock factor death, and that sucks for a character that's been around for quite a while and deserved better than that. And every now and again, some of the violence on the show is solely for a shock factor. Stuff in Terminus with Sam, when they hit him in the back of the head with a baseball bat, lifted his head up, and it had tight shot on his throat getting slit open. That was a bit much. I felt physically ill seeing that happen. I could have done without seeing that happen, because that was just, that was a bit much. Once again, I feel like that was a shock factor thing. We already know that Terminus people are evil, awful people. The fact that they had to do that, go in and do a tight shot on somebody's throat getting slit open, was a bit much. I mean, there's every now and again this show will do things that is just not, it's just to shock people. I mean, you can like that and you can hate that. I know there's some people that are over it, and I know there's some people that live for it, and either way you go though, I mean, there's gonna be, something one way or the other. Now, I'm not a social services worker or anything. I'm not about to bust up into your house if you let your small children watch the show and be like, But, however, I do feel like children, I'm trying to think of a good age here to kind of cut it off at, 10. 10 and younger, I feel like is too young to be watching this stuff. This is not a children's show. I know that, a lot of children do watch it. I mean, my 6-year-old brother every now and again will watch it. I mean, I just think that, from a certain age is too young to watch it. It's too violent, it's too much mature content for a small child. I mean, I can only imagine if I was that young and saw a show like this, I would be scarred for life. I would be so upset. I would be so scared to even go outside. But like I said, if you have a young child and you let your child watch the show, that's your child. You do whatever you want. You let them. You make the rules for your own child. And you know, I mean, like I said, it's just my personal opinion. I don't think it's really that good of an idea to let a small child watch a show like this. Just because of the content, it's a bit too much. I'm not alone in that though, because even the person who does the music for the show, Bear McCreary, he tweeted the season 5 premiere, I think the same day of or something like that. He tweeted not to let your children watch The Walking Dead that night or any night after it, because it's just not fit for children. Especially, I feel like season 5 has been even more violent than any of the other stuff. If I had a small child, I would not let them watch the show. I'd pull them away and be like, no, you go in there and watch Dragon Tales. You ain't watching this show. It's too much. As much as I look like I'd be a cool mom, I would not let my children watch a show like that. Do I think that the violence is too brutal? It depends on the situation. There's some situations that I've seen where I've thought, oh, that was a bit. One of the times that people really freaked out was when Rick bit Joe's throat out. However, I fully support that. Rick did the only thing that he could have done in that situation. He didn't really have any other choice, and that's his child getting ready to get violated in the worst way possible. And it's Rick Grimes we're talking about. Of course he's gonna do something. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? And you have to think, this is, your child is laying over here about to get violated by some creepy redneck that has like the scariest, like, I don't know even what that hairstyle was. It's what, like, it wasn't a mullet, it was like more than that. I didn't like it. He creeped me out majorly. I mean, you know, I am Southern and them are my people, but no, like, but in that situation, I felt the violence was warranted. I felt like that was what should have went down. I wasn't upset about that. Many cases, but some of them are just a bit much for me. I'm a girl after all. Y'all know me by now. You know, some of that stuff I just can't deal with. But this is a discussion video, so I would like to hear your feedback on what you think about it. If you think that the violence on the show is too much, is it too brutal, is it too in your face, is it, you know, what do you think about it? You know, when it comes to the violence on the show, what are your feelings about it? Even, you know, bringing up the children again, what are your feelings about young children watching it? What do you think about that? And also, I would like to just generally put a question out there, because I'm interested to hear people's answers on this. My question is, and this is like a situation type question, like you have to put yourself in this situation and think about it. So it's not just a general, just, what's 2 plus 2? You know, it's like, I really want to hear what people would do. So, since I brought up the terminus people, I'm interested to hear what people think about this. So let's say that you are put in that situation. Let's say that you're one of the terminus people. Okay, so let's say you are one of the terminus people, and that gang comes in and does those things. So if you're a boy, they would have, like, you know, probably beat the out of you and done all this stuff. And if you're a woman, like I am, you know, probably would have, you know, been some rape and whatnot involved, which would suck majorly. In my personal opinion, there's nothing worse that you could do to a woman than that. So yeah, so let's say you are in that situation, that happens to you, so you've lived through this awful thing. Now this is where the whole what would you do comes in. So where they decided to become, you know, the butcher or the cattle, and, you know, decided to start eating people, what would you do? Would you go that route? Would you think that cannibalism is the answer to that? You'd be like, yeah, you know what? Sick of these people. Let's start eating them. Like, would you do that? Or would you kind of would you pull a governor and start all that kind of mess? Would you, you know, what would you do? That's quite an interesting topic to think about. Personally, I would just, you know, kind of tighten up on security and you know, kind of toughen myself up and make sure that we know who's coming in there before they show up. Or, you know, you need to figure out who's coming in there before they come in. That's what I would do. I would just make sure that, you know, we were aware, we had a system to where we could, you know, figure out who these people were before they came up in there, you know, because I would not want to go through that again. But that's just my personal thing, but I would like to hear what everybody else thinks and what they would do. So, there you go. That's the question for this discussion video, as well as hearing your thoughts on all the other stuff. What would you do, though? I want to hear that. I really want to know what people would do. You guys are always really good about telling me stuff and, you know, getting involved in junk and talking and all that conversating. I'm sure you'll give me some really interesting answers. I always love to hear what people would do. That's it for this one. I'll see you next week. Christmas is coming soon, so I'll be sure to, like, you know, come up in here around Christmas time and give y'all a little virtual present of some kind. I don't know what we could do. What would you like for me to get you for Christmas? I digress. Until then, we will figure this out. I'm still trying to get used to this. So, until I see you guys next time, I am Officer Friendly, over and out. Bye-bye!